Has anyone ever told you to sleep when the baby sleeps? Get things done when the baby sleeps? And just when you finally doze off, or you're halfway through a cup of coffee that's still warm, you hear it. Your baby is up. After just 30, maybe 45 minutes, wide awake like they never slept at all. Won't go back down. So you put down the coffee, you leave the work half finished, you push through the exhaustion again and go back to your baby. And the cycle keeps going. You're drained, overwhelmed. There's no time that's yours. And your baby, undertired, cranky, impossible to settle. This is catnapping. And if you've been told it's just a sleep regression, it's not. There's one specific reason this keeps happening, and it has a fix. Stay with this video. By the end, you'll know exactly what's going on, and you'll have everything you need to handle it tonight. Here's what's actually happening. Your baby is not catnapping because they're difficult. They're not catnapping because you're doing something wrong. They're catnapping because they haven't yet learned one specific skill: how to move from one sleep cycle to the next on their own. That's it. One missing skill. And here's the important part. This isn't something babies are born knowing how to do. It has to be learned, which means it can be taught. A skill gap, not a character flaw, not a parenting failure. Most parents try to fix catnapping by changing the schedule. Earlier nap, later nap, shorter wake window, longer wake window. None of it works, because the schedule isn't the problem. What's actually happening is one level deeper than that. To understand why catnapping happens, you need to know how your baby actually sleeps. Newborns have a very simple sleep structure. Two broad states cycling quickly with very little arousal between them. That's why newborns can sometimes sleep through anything. But around 3 to 4 months, something permanent changes. Your baby's brain develops a full sleep architecture, the same 4-stage cycle that adults use for the rest of their lives. Light sleep, deep sleep, REM, and back again. Each cycle lasts roughly 30 to 45 minutes. At the end of every cycle, there's a natural arousal, a brief moment where the brain surfaces before dropping back into the next cycle. Adults do this too. We just don't notice because we know how to fall back asleep. Your baby doesn't know that yet, so at the end of that first cycle, they surface. They open their eyes and they look for the thing that helped them fall asleep in the first place. The rocking, the feeding, the motion. It's not there, so they cry. That's the whole mechanism. The nap isn't broken. The transition between cycles is just missing. There's a term for this: sleep association. A sleep association is whatever condition your baby was in when they first fell asleep. If they fell asleep being rocked, rocking is the association. Fed to sleep, feeding is the association. Motion, white noise, your arms, all associations. None of these are bad things. They work. They're comforting. They made complete sense when your baby was a newborn. The problem is this: when your baby surfaces between sleep cycles, they expect to find that same condition again, and when it's gone, they're up. This is why catnapping often gets worse between 3 and 5 months. Not because your baby is regressing, because their sleep cycles are maturing, arousals are becoming more frequent, and the gap between what they need and what they find is becoming more obvious. The fix isn't to remove comfort. The fix is to gradually shift where sleep begins, so that the beginning of sleep looks the same as the middle of sleep. 3 things you can start doing now. First, drowsy but awake. Instead of putting your baby down fully asleep, try putting them down when they're drowsy. Eyes heavy, body relaxed, but not yet fully gone. This gives them the chance to complete that last step of falling asleep on their own. It feels uncomfortable at first. It takes practice. But over days, it teaches their brain that sleep begins in the crib, not in your arms. You don't have to do it perfectly. Even partial practice builds the skill. Second, watch the wake window. At 3 to 5 months, most babies need 90 to 120 minutes of awake time between naps. Too little, they're not tired enough to sleep deeply. Too much, they're overtired, cortisol spikes, and sleep becomes even harder. Watch for sleepy cues: the yawn, the glazed look, the slowing down. Start the wind down routine when you see them, not after. Third, consistent nap environment. Same place, same cues, same order, every nap. A darkened room, a few minutes of calm. White noise if it helps. Routine is a sleep cue. When the environment is predictable, the brain starts preparing for sleep before the baby is even put down. That preparation makes cycle transitions easier. This doesn't fix overnight. Most families start to see improvement within 1 to 2 weeks of consistent practice. And consistent doesn't mean perfect. You will have naps where you feed them to sleep because you're exhausted, and that's what works in that moment. That's fine. Progress is not a straight line. What matters is the direction. More drowsy but awake starts. More practice linking cycles. Gradually, the naps get longer. Every time you rocked them to sleep. Every time you fed them until they were fully out. Every time you held them for that extra 10 minutes just to make sure you were doing the comforting thing, the loving thing, the right thing for where they were. Now they're ready for the next step, and so are you. Catnapping isn't a sign that you built something broken. It's a sign that your baby trusted you completely to help them into sleep, and now you get to teach them what comes next. That's not a problem to fix. That's parenting.
If this helped you understand your baby a little better tonight, there's a lot more where that came from. New video every week. You've got this, parents.